what's going on? It's the ID84 show live here, episode 211. As always, Adam the Mallett to left
Hello.
here.
Hello.
Tonight we'll have comedian Elon Altman coming on. And I actually met this gentleman almost 6 years ago at that wedding that I speak about all the time on this show. That I said it was the worst experience ever. So there you go. That would be fun. And also mark this day. Today is the 24th of February, the year 2022, the year of the Lord, first day of World War III.
It's also the day after my birthday, which you forgot to wish me happy birthday.
Wait, your birthday was yesterday?
Yeah.
What I think it was the 25th.
I don't know. I'm just fucking with you. I don't give a fuck. But I
Well,
just
what
wanted
did I
to
say?
let you know.
24th.
Yeah, remember I get the same birthday as two people that are just amazing people.
I was thinking that day was the 25th. How come nothing came up on Facebook for
I don't
any of
I
you?
don't do social media.
Well, then I owe you a drink. We'll go out. Well, I guess we can't go tomorrow. We're having a snow day. Well, I'll go Monday.
39 years young. Just wait till next Friday.
We can do that too.
Yeah,
Oh,
Fridays.
well, happy late birthday.
Thank you. 39 years young.
Yeah, at least it wasn't the 40th. That would really felt bad. If that was the case, I'd be like, oh fuck, I missed the big one.
That's bad.
Ooh, that's like next year.
I know.
Fucking hey.
That's scary.
My buddy Anthony just turned 40, and I was like, damn.
But
That's
damn it, Arty, you know what's scarier? Is this world right now, because the 20s have been fucking horrible.
Right.
So
the real
2020
20s.
happens.
The real 20s. Yeah, but the 20s back in like 1900 were horrible too.
Horrible. Like 2020 comes around,
right,
and then it's COVID. And then COVID lets up. And now we got to think about fucking war. Like, what next? What do you want to do next, world? We're going to go asteroids? You're going to throw an asteroid our way? Is that next? Oh, how about El Nino hasn't fucked with us? We're going to get like super El Nino. So it's going to happen.
Ooh, we haven't had an El Nino since like 1998. I remember when I was in Spanish class in middle school, that was a big thing we were talking about. We were talking about El Nino. And my Spanish teacher, who hated me, was the only person to ever give me a D ever. He actually gave me a D- and put a note, I should have failed you, but I didn't want to have to see you next year. Who later on became my 12th grade Italian teacher. We kept talking about El Nino and how it means the baby, and it's a thing that happens. And
can't we just catch a break? Just 1 year. This one really good year. Can we please have a break? Like, what's next? Like, how about a Carrot Top Pauly Shore Christmas special? That's gonna end the year. That'll end it.
Would you rather that? What would be worse, that or a that Corey Feldman song we heard today?
I'm gonna come back, kid.
And was that stuck in your head all day? Because
yes,
yeah, mine too. I was like, I'm come back, kid.
Corey, first of all,
50 years
in
old.
order to be a comeback king, you have to go away. You never go away.
Well, that's the problem. Right. Or like you have to like be huge. Yeah, like and then like even like Simber a little bit. And then boom. But he's always had the kid peaked at 15. And he's 50. That's 35 years of mediocrity.
But here's the thing. It's obvious he has too many yes people around him. Okay. If you ever became that delusional, Arty, where you're like, I'm going to do anything that was just, I'd be like, you're fucking stupid. He's having people tell him that's a good idea. This video, right. Corey, great idea. Right? Is anybody stopping him?
Because the poor sap is probably paying him to do like advice, like, you know what I mean? Like she's the social media director for Corey Feldman Industries. And I looked up his net worth and it's like $1 million.
I was just about to.
Yeah, and that's like his net. So that means like say he owns a $500,000 house. That means half his net worth is his house. And it's sad. Well, I was reading up on the other Corey. What was it? Corey
Haim. Corey Haim.
Yeah, Haim, yeah. He his net worth when he died was $1,000. Oh. It's like sad. Like these guys were like the big, well, kind of before our time. We were still little when they were making their movies, but classic movies, you know. And now Corey Feldman claims he's never been touched by Michael Jackson. He says that he's like, I've never been touched by him. But like he like when he sings and he dances, and even the outfit he was wearing in the Comeback Kid music video, it's like it's the red leather jacket that like I think that like Michael Jackson wore through one of the music videos.
And even his hair when Michael Jackson was older.
Right. And then the glove, and he's doing
glove. Yeah, it's weird. It's creepy.
Michael Jackson kind of looked robotic when he did it, so it was kind of cool. He's like, woo, eh. Corey Feldman looks like a car with a bad carburetor skidding on the highway.
I know, I'm watching him in that video, like get low, kind of do some
Yeah.
choreography, and it's embarrassing.
So
Like, it's
you
just,
got, I don't know if you've seen the other song that came out like 5 years ago. He did
did
another.
you see the one that he performed on like the morning show? Did you see that performance?
Yeah, so you got to look at the music video. So he tried to do the Martin Scorsese one shot through the whole movie, through the whole music video.
Oh,
I don't, I
Jesus.
forget the name of the song, and it starts off he's in bed with like these supermodels, and he goes through it. He like, so the whole thing's filmed in his house, and he's like doing a bunch of shit in his house, and then like the ends with him going back in bed with his supermodel girlfriend. But the whole time he's doing like Michael Jackson dances.
That's starting to sound familiar.
But the song is so catchy. It's almost as catchy as "Come Back Kid."
I wonder if it's as bad as Stitches. I like Stitches though.
Actually,
The
it's
rapper Stitches.
Kid, right? Yes, not King. I was thinking it was King. And in Comeback Kid, no, Combat King. He's the Comeback King.
Comeback Kid.
That's Kid or King?
Wait, Comeback King. Oh, wait, Comeback King. You're right.
It is King. You know why? Because Dr. Dre's son's in the music video, and he puts a crown on to it, like a king. He was crowned. So I guess, all right, there you go. That's something to. I'm like, come back. You guys should download it. It was released on 2/2/22.
As I was saying, it would have been. It's great if like you think it's a parody, but the problem is he's being for real.
Right. Like this is, if you were said, hey, let's do like a Saturday night, well, even said like a Saturday Night Live skit on like a Michael Jackson music video when like Michael Jackson was like known, and you could do this shitty kind of yeah. The songs are, he's got some catchy songs though. They're terrible songs, but they're like,
I don't know. I prefer Stitches though. He just likes to rap about doing cocaine and selling guns.
Yeah, it's an easy thing to do.
He's got a Christmas album called Cocaine Holiday. It looks like snow just pouring on him. It's great.
I'm the comeback kid. Not yet. Okay, still waiting. I guess I thought maybe.
Have you ever seen one of Stitch's videos? I think I showed you once.
Yeah, I think so. They're not very good.
They're great. I think they're fucking amazing.
The quality, like then, like you did, like on an old like flip phone back in the day. Oh no, is this the guy with the really? Well, maybe. Hold on.
He's got tattoos like no. He's got like so does Post Malone, but this guy's got like tattoos.
Oh yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
He's not the comeback king though.
No, he's not the comeback king at all.
Yeah, imagine having that many yes men. That's kind of like uncomfortable.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, it is. Like, if you ever got that delusional, I tell you, you're being fucking stupid.
Right. Like, that's like kind of like these people that like hire all these people around them to work for them, like celebrities and stuff like that, and like they just suck them dry. And, like, no one's had a conversation with these people. Like, you don't need this type of person. Like, you don't need this. You don't need an assistant to the general manager of your life.
Yeah, it's like you have to like ride an addict. Like, most of them become addicts, and it's like, no, you can get up on stage, just have another drink, and they're like, you know, they become their little source of income in that puppet. It's fucked up.
It is actually pretty fucked up. I think I have to reset this one. So another one of my favorite radio people have just got canceled. I just read the news today. And it's kind of his fault because I read what he said and I was like pretty dumb. So I'm a big fan of the Truck Driver station on Sirius XM. I like listening to truck drivers.
Yeah.
XM 174. It's like Trucking Network or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Road Dog Trucking Network. There's this guy named Kevin Rutherford. Kevin Rutherford.
Rutherford?
Yeah. And he ran a website called letstruck.com.
Mm-hmm.
And he has like bald head and these little glasses. So he used to do a show on XM. But his shows would basically be pretty funny because I guess they weren't funny at all. They were like informative news shows for trucks. I have no idea what they're talking about. Anyway, his shows are really good. You talk about diets and he like keto and stuff, and you talk about like coca, which is like this like chocolate shit that he used to eat that was like coke. I don't know. But anyways, it was his own fault because there's certain things you could say that it's like even someone who's like, yeah, you should be able to say whatever you want, but you can't. You really shouldn't say that. Not because it's against the law, but it's because it could be dangerous. Some congressman in Arizona said that when the trucks start this convoy next week around DC, allegedly it's going to happen somewhere in Canada. I don't know if it's really true or not, But he says that all the trucks should be impounded and given away to immigrants who or something that need trucks. And the guy on the radio pretty much said someone should go to his house and shoot him in the head. Who's a you can't really say that about a congressperson.
Yeah, that's probably not a good idea.
Like that's like, oh man. And he's like, I got fired. And everyone's like, yeah, we pretty much seen that coming. Like we don't agree with it, but like, you know, it happens.
It does.
I mean, they did that. They fired Anthony Cumia from XM for going on a Twitter rant, and Twitter had nothing to do with Sirius XM. So
the world is a fascinating place now.
we were looking at the comeback keys.
I was a minute ago, and I was looking up Kevin Rutherford, and then I got lost in Ukraine.
Yeah, I know the two. I think Kevin Rutherford's from Ukraine, so that'd be interesting.
Oh, I will say though, Russia suffered the 5th worst stock market day in history.
Really?
Today.
In history of their country or global?
History of their market, like history of all markets, like Russia's market today, stock market tumbled like over almost 30%, I think.
Yeah, see, because the currency exchange rate was dropping like a fucking ball.
Where I'm looking for it right now. They were showing a chart as it like being like the 5th worst in history.
Yeah.
With the worst actually being like, I would say like Argentina, 1990, something like that.
It's up, but they'll recover. They're too big of a country to be like hit like what I mean. It's like that's a big blow.
Yeah,
it's like if that was to like a small little country, it would be like you'd wipe it off the freaking face of the planet.
Yeah,
it is interesting that they took over Chernobyl.
Yeah.
So I guess there was a plant close by that they wanted to take control.
Yeah, it wasn't that exact plant.
No, yeah, it's like close, but yeah, it was in the area. So they took that over, and they were saying these like the Russians were just like plowing through the no like enter zone of Chernobyl, not because no one wants anyone there, because you could die of radiation poisoning.
Yeah, I know they have been exchanging gunfire over there. That's the thing.
Yeah, they're penetrating. They say in the dome could be penetrated. Which
they're worried about that. They're also worried about kicking up just radioactive dust on the ground from running. Yeah,
it's like what the fuck. Like I don't know. That seems like a common sense maneuver not to do, right? Like, hey, let's stay away from the giant area that's technically a nuclear power plant.
Well, I mean, by seizing it, you could end up using it as a weapon, or at least threaten to use it as a weapon, whether you're bluffing or not.
You think there's like stored uranium still there?
I mean, they could just let some of the air out. I mean, really, there's a lot of shit they can do.
Yeah,
let it get into the water. There's a lot.
But I don't know if that like benefits them with the air, because the wind usually goes easterly. So you just kill everyone in Russia and China.
Well, they're not that
like kill their own people. They're like, what the fuck did we do? Like we thought the wind was going to change. We set up these big fans, these big windmills from Holland to blow in the air this way, so we can blow it that way.
I mean, realistically, I guess sanctions are really the only thing you could do. I mean, I don't like the argument that like it is true when they say like, oh, sanctions just hurt the people. Yeah, so do bombs.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Like, well, it's just kind of a matter of trying to hurt somebody without actually killing people.
It also seems it's like the less of like the two evils. Like, let's financially hurt them so we don't actually kill them, so there's still a chance for them to bounce back.
Yeah, so we don't kill the public. We want to hurt the infrastructure.
Right. So, I guess should we bring in that guest? We should.
Let's bring him in. Bring him in, brother.
Here it comes, loading. Hey, Elon. How you doing?
Doing good. Hey, Arty.
Long time no see.
Yeah, I'm used to seeing you in a tuxedo.
Yes, yelling at
or something like that.
Something like that. Yes, Elon Altman. How you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing good. I brought my legal team with me.
like OJ. How do you legal?
It doesn't look like they're succeeding.
I use this as a background for like Zoom comedy shows when it's like a bad joke. They're just like, oh god.
It's the greatest picture ever. Poor OJ. He looks so upset in that picture.
I don't know why.
Like, what do you think he's thinking about? He's like, oh damn. He's like, I gotta sell that condo now. I'm next thing in.
I'm missing my tea time for this. Damn it.
Yes.
I wish we could just go back to those days. Those problems seem so trivial compared to what's going on in the world these days, right? I mean,
yeah. Now OJ's on the front lines in Ukraine defending our freedom.
He's flying over with Dennis Rodman. They're gonna be talking about stuff. They're like, hey, we're here. We're gonna make peace. Like, Well, me and Elon met. Yes, it was what almost. Do you know it was almost 6 years ago? Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, or 7 maybe. I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah,
6.5. I don't know,
yeah,
man.
like
2015.
2015, right? Like September.
Yeah.
And this is the wedding I talk about. That this is I. Did you go down? You with a girlfriend or you with a friend? I forget your situation.
I'm married. I was just newly married when that wedding.
Okay,
Oh,
yeah.
wow. I'm
So-
Adam, by the way.
That's
Oh, hey, Adam. Yeah, Adam is my wife now that
There you go.
that's a
Congratulations.
surprise reveal.
Okay, so that's the situation. So
I
I went down on with the this girl I was dating. She was a flight attendant, and
Yeah.
I think we broke up the next day. Like all the way home. It was one of those things. It was really good. I was like, I always remember like that was the guy. I did have a really good time that night.
Was that the one that pushed you out of the car?
That was one of them. There's two of them that
Okay.
pushed me out of the car.
Oh, okay.
Like a moving car.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, it
Yeah.
happens. We can't do.
It does happen.
Yes. So
Yeah, I
you-
remember that wedding being really fun because like you and me were both like fish out of water there because it was a weird wedding.
Right. Yeah. We didn't know anyone. It was like in the middle
Yeah.
of Sarasota, Florida. Like it's like, hey.
That's like I feel like when you're an adult, like that's the only way you can make friends now is guys like who are just like at weddings against their will.
Yeah.
And like they latch on to each other, and for 3 hours you become like best friends, and then you never see each other again, and that's
Right.
okay.
That's happens like so many. Like that's a very common thing to have. Like you go to a bachelor party with a bunch of guys you don't know, and you guys are like the best brothers to ever live that entire weekend, and you may never speak against each other. And weddings, like it's survival. Like you just like you're looking around, like who else is here with me in the same situation? And this is a group of people just in the corner, just like you're like, oh, that's the fun.
So how was this wedding exactly? I hear about this wedding, and you guys just talk about how great the what. So what happened during this wedding?
It was it had like a circus theme to it. It was at this
Ah.
outdoor. It was like this fancy mansion from like the 1920s.
Yeah,
That
like
was-
the Ringling Brothers owned it back in the day, something like that.
Yeah, right. The Ringling Brothers are like the big shots in Sarasota, Florida. So like they have a circus museum and they have this mansion. And so this mansion is the site of many weddings. And so the bride, who's one of my wife's best friends from childhood, she likes the circus and stuff like that. So she had all these like performers who are like, on ribbons up in the air. And like, like at weddings where they'll have the place cards where you find out what table you sit at. At this wedding, it was all the place cards were on this woman's dress, and you would pull it off the dress one at a time. So by the end, she just had like wire around her.
Oh shit. Well, that sounds really cool. Actually, though, sounds like it was a good time.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was having a good time until I was getting yelled at in the parking lot by the girl I was with. That was fun.
I think you were spending too much time with me, and she felt like you weren't doing your job as the boyfriend.
I drank so many gin and tonics that night. I was
Yeah.
like blackout. And the problem was like I had gotten there like the day before, and the girl I was with was doing all the flowers and stuff too. I don't know if you remember going up to the room the night before. And there was like a big giant florist thing going on up there. I thought it was they were like building like the
Sounds
flower.
familiar.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
So she was like up all night building all the flowers and stuff like this, and then I was unable to do anything because I had had a few cocktails. You know what I mean? Sometimes you get overserved. You know?
So this was the last time you guys saw each other.
Yeah, it was the only time
Yeah.
we met. It was the first time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's
all
it.
right.
He's like, oh, you just stand up in New
Okay.
York. So you're still in
Just
New
one
York,
special night.
right?
Damn. So what have you been doing, Elon, these last 6 years?
I've been living in New York City. That's where I'm from. Been doing stand-up comedy.
Sweet.
That's it.
You're coming up to
Hey, is it-
Boston next week, though, right? You said. Is that what?
Yeah, I'm shipping up to Boston, just like that famous song by the Beatles. I believe. I think that's who it was.
You're close.
Yeah. I'm headlining Nick's Comedy Stop March 4th and 5th.
Awesome.
Nick's is cool. I did Nick's. Oh God, 5-6 years ago, and like on a Halloween night special and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. Like you walk. It's like this whole it's underneath the Orpheum or the Wing Theater. So it's like the whole basement of the whole entire place. It's really really cool.
Now it's different. I was there in November. It's like it's above some dance club, not in the basement.
Oh, they moved
It's
it
upstairs. Yeah, and it looks like a nightclub. You're in like a kind of like it looks like a swimming pool.
right.
And you're standing well above all the people. But when I was there, it was like, I don't know, the nightclub below was having like an underage party night. So it was like a lot of 16-year-olds dancing.
Oh,
And you just
God,
hear
that's
like the bass thumping while you're trying to do your set.
I
so sad, man.
yeah.
The stupid laugh, that teen girl laugh, like in the background.
Oh my God, it's my 21st birthday. Clicking of
Someone's
this-
crying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God, there's nothing more annoying than that.
And like a lot of those places have have like a bathroom that's like centrally located, so you can hear people coming downstairs, like using Yeah, Nick's literally has been like in every location in Boston. They'll have like a lease for like 5 or 6 years, and they'll move and go to another place, move to go to another place. But it's all like in the same neighborhood, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah. So it's like they're gypsies, the gypsies of comedy. They
It's
get
like,
kicked out because they don't pay their rent.
right. They're like they're stiffing them, they're landing on the rent. We'll go to the next theater down the street. Like, yeah, we'll take you in. That's a good club. That's
Well, they're not going to pay their rent with my weekend unless we sell a lot of tickets.
You said
I don't think they're
what March 6th, you said, right?
4th and 5th.
Well, 4th and 5th.
Yeah.
There you go. That's hey Adam, we should go.
We should.
Come on out.
We're free back in Boston. They got rid of all
$20. We're heading into a recession. Just kidding. Just kidding.
No, I got a code. It's only 1950.
Oh shit.
Well, are you performing with anyone local around here or?
I don't know. I'm bringing up an opener from New York, but I'm not sure if there's other people, like probably one or two other comics on the show that are local.
Nice. I was gonna say, I wonder if there's anyone we know. We have a big fan of the show, Don Zolo. I don't know if you met him. He's a local North Shore guy up here, comedian.
No, I don't know too many Boston comics that are in Boston, but I did the Boston Comedy Festival back in November, so I met a few locals. They were very funny. It's a good scene.
How did they do that this year? It wasn't virtual though. It was like what, a minimum crowd or something like that they had set up?
It was only a minimal crowd because of slow sales.
Oh.
But no, it was good. It was live. I think last year's was online, which looked terrible. This one was live in Somerville.
That's right.
They did it at the Roxy. Does that sound familiar? The Roxy Theater. It's like a small.
Yeah,
small
maybe Porter Square. What else? Davis Square is.
Yeah, it's on that strip with like all these little restaurants and bars and stuff. So it probably sat like 150 people. It was pretty cool. So they had a few different rounds of it. They have judging it, so you go through each round, and then the finals was in the Somerville Theater, which was a nice big venue.
Yeah, it's a nice place. That's cool. Yeah, that's the one thing that at Boston that I enjoyed going a few years back was just like the whole comedy festival was like a whole week long, but they had a few like Improv Boston and Cambridge. They were open. They closed down. I guess they found a new location, but they used to host a couple nights of the comedy festival too. And it was just, you could just bounce around for the entire week and just see like all these cool people just in town, just hanging out. And
yeah, it had less of that because I think people were still like weird about COVID. So like, even though the show live, there was not like a thing set up for the comics to hang in between shows or anything like that. But yeah, I've been to bad festivals. Like I was at this one in Louisville, Kentucky, like 7 years ago. And when we got to the club, like a bunch of us flew in from New York. People came from all over the country. When we got there, the club was like, "Oh, is that this weekend?" Like they had no idea this was happening.
Oh shit!
And so like instead, they didn't even have multiple stages. So they had like their one showroom, and then they used like their bar. They just set up like 10 chairs, and they were like, "This will be stage 2."
God.
And I was like, I flew to Kentucky for this.
And nothing's worse than doing like a show in a bar. Like when people are sitting there, like no one has any interest, right? Pretty much for you listening to comedy, especially when you hijack, they don't know it's like a open mic night. And they're just sitting there having their bar, a bunch of guys from the factories, and they look over. It's like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, those ambush shows are just like, I feel bad for them. I don't want to be there either.
It's like I used to host one at this bar I work at, and it's a Mexican restaurant attached to a hotel, which basically gets a lot of tourists or like some like old people flying out before they go to Florida for the week, so they can park their car there for a discounted rate. And we'd do these like ambush shows, and they'd just be like sitting there trying to eat their like quesadilla. We're like, the fuck is going on right now? Like, why is this guy telling dick jokes in the corner? I thought it was a nice meal and a nice rest for the airport.
Actually, Elon, I got a question for you. On your profile, it says you were a contributing writer for the Comedy Central roast of Alec Baldwin. And I've always been curious with like roasts like that. I know there's writers that write the jokes for the celebrities that go on stage, but every once in a while, do like they just kind of go off and like say something that isn't written for them and like just totally screw it up? Like how often do they slip something in that's theirs?
Yeah, so I don't know that because I wasn't at the taping. So I was able to send jokes in to Jeff Ross, and one of mine got on the air.
Oh, nice.
But they have there's like a set writer team that's like hired for the show that does write for the celebrities, because like none of those people are funny.
No, of course.
But the ones who aren't comics are not funny. So like that like I don't know, Cloris Leachman or whoever these like old ladies they bring on. They're not coming up the greatest jokes in the world.
Oh yeah, it's true. It's being taped. I was gonna say I could just see every once in a while some like ego maniac just trying to like going off script and saying something that they would think is funny, but just isn't funny at all.
Well, one that I remember though was when Mike the Situation from the Jersey Shore was doing the roast of Donald Trump, And
Yeah.
you could tell he was trying to like punch up the jokes that the writers had written for him. So like whatever he would say, he would just be like, and that's a situation. And then the crowd, he was bombing and he just kept
Yeah, I
trying to
remember
milk
that.
it. And then even Trump was like ripping on him.
That's cringe.
But you could tell like the kind of people who like the writers probably hated, who were like just being dicks to them, like when they were showing off like what they had written. And you know, these celebrities are probably like, yeah, don't worry about it, I got this.
Like,
So the writers aren't going to waste their best jokes on those guys. They're going to give the jokes to the people who are nice to them.
like we got this joke from this guy who's at some community college in Roxbury, Mass, and his major's history, and he decides to write jokes. So here we go. We give that one.
Yeah.
I'll be like, what's that? What's up, no joke?
It's our best stuff, we swear.
Come on, Mike. Mike the situation. That's interesting because you figure those shows, how long they are, and all the people that come on there, like you need a team of writers just to be able to like come up with enough material and research. Mostly the research, because you got to be able to get a nice joke, so you get a nice foundation. You got to do the homework. Nothing's worse than a joke that has no research based on it.
I know, right?
Yeah, no, right. With roast jokes, you got to have that research. You got to like look up who the celebrity you're talking about, and like, all right, what did they have any unusual deaths in their family? Did they, you know, any kind of weird legal trouble? Anything about their spouse? Any background that you could use to make fun of them? Their movies, whatever. But it takes a lot.
Before you came on, we were talking about Corey Feldman. Are you familiar with his work?
Well, yeah, actually, when you're talking about ambush shows, I was going to mention how like one time I was doing a show at a bar and the Goonies was on TV to the right of me, and I was like, forget my set, I just want to watch this part because it was like the best part of the movie.
That's
So,
awesome.
yes, I'm a fan.
Yeah, he's coming off a new song. He released it on 2222 or 22222, and it's called "The Comeback King." And
It's so bad. It's
his because we're talking about people that have too many yes men around them. Like every time they come up with an idea, it's like, yeah, it's a good idea without giving them any reason. Like a parent would like sit your kid down and be like, hey, listen, it's probably not a good idea you become a mime, and it's with 4 years of college under your belt. But like everyone's telling Corey Feldman, yes, you got to do this. So he has this music video just came out of a song he wrote allegedly called "The Comeback King," and in the entire music video, he pretty much acts like Michael Jackson, which is really creepy considering there were some allegations that perhaps there was some inappropriate relations between him and MJ. But we were just talking about how it's very catchy, the song.
Oh no! What if it works? What if he becomes a real star all of a sudden because of this?
Well, you know what? I was also saying earlier, the 20s have been, our roaring 20s have been fucking horrible. So like, you know, I wouldn't be, if he did become famous because of this, it'd be like, yeah, it sounds about right.
That would be great because he really would be the comeback king, and we would never see it coming. But like, there is some like bizarro universe where this works for him, and all of a sudden he becomes our biggest celebrity. Like somehow he makes a deal with the devil, and he's the best musician ever, and everyone loves him.
Well,
right?
I have a feeling in his mind he already is. So I would actually, I'm kind of jealous. Like I kind of wish I was that delusional. So it's just like ignorance is bliss. If you don't know and you're really that happy, then does it matter? Like, you know?
Yeah, it's like he's living in the metaverse.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's like his real life. The metaverse is like his life is the metaverse. It's like,
have either of you guys experienced the metaverse at all?
I don't think so. What is it, like VR goggles?
Yeah, right. Is that how the whole system works? I'm a little like,
I guess it's still like in its primitive like stage. Like I guess like remember Second Life? Do you remember that bullshit?
Yeah.
Yeah, like where you go on a website,
Online
you just kind of
world.
go around and
It's like The Sims, but like interactive. So like
that's
Sims
the version of the metaverse. Like it is. That's technically like the metaverse and it's like primitiveness, you know.
What's it do?
Well, the metaverse is like it's like a term. It's more like being.
No, I know.
But
like, what does it do for you? Like or is it just a game?
I mean, I guess it's just kind of your escape from reality. You can meet people from all over the world. It does have its pros that aren't like, you know, bad. You know, you can.
But I think it'll make people lazy if you're just like living. I mean, because it's way better than your real life. If you're like just some big fat slob, and then you can be like a supermodel in the metaverse, you're just gonna hang out there all the time.
Like when
that's like the movie. That's like a movie. That's like the movie Ready Player One.
Oh, I thought.
Oh yeah.
Wasn't that?
And also, Wall-E had that aspect too. I think. Well, everyone was on like some cruise in space, and they had lost all their bones because they were just like sitting there, being like looking at virtual reality, being fed constantly.
Oh, and also, You Got Mail had that same concept. They were adults
Yeah.
being
That was the metaverse. Yeah.
yeah, they were just adults being lazy, so they're chit chatting on AOL, flirting with each other. And then coincidentally, they looked exactly like the same people that were in a movie that came out like 5 years prior to that called Lonely in Las. Was it
Sleepless in Seattle.
Sleepless in Seattle.
Lonely in Las Vegas.
Yeah. No, that's just me every time I go there. But I would say like the metaverse would be like, it's basically like that. You go into a chat room, and you can look exactly like how many, like I used to laugh. I was like 30 lying in chat rooms. I was like, yeah, I'm 65. I know that's what you're looking for.
You would go older.
Oh yeah, you gotta go old. I would go into like
It's like the opposite of To Catch a Predator. You're a 30-year-old pretending to be
I'm
65.
trying to catch creepy old ladies. It would be like you go on, and it's like young divorcees. I think was the group I used to go on all the time. It's like, yeah, young divorcees. So like, yeah, I'm 45 years old. I've been smoking cigs since I was 15. You can tell by my voice. My husband just left me for a younger model. She's a bleach blonde bimbo. And I'm just looking for some young C. And then I'd be like, well, there you go. Perfect. This is exactly what I'm looking for. Nothing short, nothing long term. Cook, you know what I mean?
Some
like,
young C? Is that short for cock?
Yeah, it would be. Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't know these terms in the divorcee groups.
I can tell time, but times are changing like fast. Like I've said before, how I remember back in the day, ASL used to mean age, sex, location, right? And I remember I was at like this party not that long, like a couple of years ago, and someone said ASL, and I'm like, oh, age, sex, location, and it was just a conversation a bunch of people were having that I just kind of caught at that time, and I'm like, oh, age, sex, location, no, American Sign Language Association. I'm like, oh. Like that's how much times have changed. Like I just don't know the abbreviations for shit anymore.
I used to like the ASLP, age, sex, location. Do you have a pic? And then it would be this like super highly pixelated picture you took with like your first realm digital camera. It was like looking at one of those like magic eyes. You got to get real close. You're like, oh,
it was like the original picture of Pluto from 1979. But like I think it's round. I don't know.
But then like the bots started taking over the chat rooms, right? Eventually over the years, like bots would start. And then like you could get tricked. Like at first it was obvious. No, but at first you might think you're talking to a person and you get like maybe a sentence off. You could carry on for about maybe 4 sentences before all of a sudden you realize the response back, wait a minute, is a bot. You know what I mean? And
or a hooker. One or the other. It's like, was there a price involved?
No. No, it was Amazon.
Mail order brides.
Send me Amazon gift cards. Well, no, they didn't have that yet, but
Well, if there's war going on over there in Russia, there's gonna be a shortage of mail order brides. What's gonna happen?
Yeah, what are our American losers gonna do?
What do you mean? There's gonna be no shortage. They're all gonna be trying to get over here.
That's true. Maybe a surplus. They can really be picky and choosy. You'd be on that show, Married at First Sight, or
that show was great.
90 Day Fiance.
I love that stuff.
Did
you watch that one, Love on the Spectrum?
No.
It's on Netflix. It's actually more of like a wholesome one of these kind of shows, but it's about like it's from Australia. It's about autistic like young adults who are trying to date.
Yeah.
And you don't even realize they're autistic because they just seem like every Australian you've ever seen in your life. But some of them are like super autistic and some of them are just a little bit and just quirky and funny. And I don't know. You shed some tears. It's nice.
Do any of them get like set off with like weird tics? Like something happens. It's like, I can't be here. Like I think I would
totally.
Laughing.
Yeah.
Oh no.
They're on a date and then like something snapped and they're like,
Oh god, I have to watch this now. I'm gonna go to hell.
Well, there's also one of the girl who like has that disease where like they stay at like looking at 12 their entire life, but she's really like 22 years old, and she has like a high pitched voice and she's all this stuff and like, but she looks like a kid, but she's old. And they set her up on dates with guys that never met her before, and it's like it's fucked up.
To freak them out.
No, like to like she's like looking for love, and like the people she's showing them pictures, and they think she's like the person's kid. It's just like, like do you imagine like she's showing up and this girl's like, oh, she sounds cool and stuff like this, and she looks like she's like just got out of like middle school, and it's like, and then you look for Chris Hansen, you're like, wait a minute, she said 18 a lot. I swear to God, I'm not.
And then you can't be an ass because you're on television,
right?
Because you like to feel like you're duped, so you can't like be. So you got to be polite too.
She's like 4'2" and she weighs like 75 pounds. And they hooked her up with this guy that looked like Vince Wilfork could play for the Patriots. He was like 6'4", 300 pounds, very dark, and he was ready to like. He was like, whoa. He was He's like, what's going on here? He's like looking around like,
This tomfoolery.
It's funny because like the guy also can't act like he's into this person because then you're on TV and everyone's like, oh, okay, clearly you're a pervert.
fucked up, right? Exactly. It's a lose-lose situation. Everyone who sees you out with this person, they're gonna be like, oh, is that your daughter? I'm like, no, it's my girlfriend. I'm like, oh,
It's like an alcoholic drinking like non-alcoholic beer, and you're like, everyone like, we know you like alcohol. yes, it's non-alcoholic, but we know what you want for real.
it's like you get your foot in the line, right? It's like that's the line in the sand. You just kind of like, oh, so close. 17 and 19, 9 months. It's like, whoa, okay. Those shows are actually great because when there's nothing else on TV, typically those networks have like a marathon, so you can really catch up real quickly.
Yeah, they suck you in. You're just gonna watch one, and then like before the ending credits, the next show starts, and you're like, well, okay, so.
Me and Adam
Do
actually
another.
went to a fake wedding, where it was going to be like 90 Day Fiance that was all being set up. So it was one of our buddies that we hang out with. He was made this proposition with this Brazilian girl that he worked with. So the Brazilian girl wanted to come to this country, so she needed someone to marry so she can get her citizenship. And then once she was going to come here, she was going to get a divorce so she can bring her real husband over and get him citizenship. So it's this whole long game plan that was going to possibly happen. That never
I
did.
didn't know that about the other guy.
Yeah, it was a whole like a chain thing. So
But she had a boyfriend, an ex
Yes.
that was like, okay, we'll get to that.
so the boyfriend, yes. So my buddy's like, this Brazilian girl's interested in him. He's like, he's almost 50 at this point. So he's like, yeah, well, she must be into me. And we're like, I don't know, dude. And then she's like, yeah, she had a conversation with me. She's like, she's gonna pay me to help her become a citizen. And we go, okay. He's like, well, you gotta come to the wedding. So I was in town anyways for a job interview. So I was like, I guess I had my suit on. Basically, the last time you see me, I had the same suit on, probably. And we went to this thing, and there was supposed to be a whole situation, and it never happened. And he goes, well, she says she doesn't have the money, and she wants to pay me like in payments. I go, you'd probably see one payment, and that would be it.
Yeah.
And then
Wow.
it fell through. So I'm actually a little concerned. I should have checked up on her to see if she's been. I don't know if she's able to stayed over here or whatnot.
She's in a cage at the border in Mexico.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Oh my god.
No,
Wait,
my
hold on,
Brazilian
hold on.
husband.
Hold on. Let me elaborate on some of what he just said. So I pick him up at his hotel. We drive on over, right? We get in there. There's like appetizers and stuff. The appetizers are really
Yeah,
good.
really good. Remember the
Really
drink you were
good.
drinking that was in the pineapple? He actually
It was
carved the
great.
pineapple
It was great.
and put a
It was
drink
really
in.
good.
That was
right?
our vessel for the night. It was great.
So then we get word that her ex-boyfriend locked himself in the bathroom in her apartment,
Mhm.
right? And we're worried that he's just gonna break out, lose his shit, and like shoot up the place.
Oh yeah, the whole place was in
Crazy.
glass. It was a
Glass!
big glass, like
Right?
everything was glass.
Uh-huh.
Right in downtown
And-
Cambridge.
And yeah, then there was the whole payment thing, and him saying he hadn't got any payments, and like
Right.
he wasn't even getting laid. Like
Yeah,
I
he wasn't
didn't
even having
understand
sex
that.
with her. Like it wasn't even like there was like a sexual. He really was. He needed a better negotiator because his contract sucked.
Maybe he's like really old fashioned. He still believed in no sex before marriage, even when it was a sham.
He I don't think- that much.
Eric, no sex before marriage. Yeah. I thought of that.
It's on him.
It's the same kid when I did college radio. He came to my radio station and took one of our free college condoms. And I was like, I don't know, bro. We got them for really, really cheap. I wouldn't like bet your life on this condom. And then he took it to at the place was this comedy club called The Vault in Boston. And he did a show like on a Thursday night. So we went and he's like, bro, give me like 20 minutes. I met this girl. I'm gonna go bang her in the green room. And I'm like, oh yeah, okay, dude. I'll just go sit at the bar and have a beer. And then he comes back like 20 minutes later. He's like, those condoms you gave me weren't very good. And I go, yeah, I told you they were like just like kind of like cheap college promos. They said like the Arty 84 show on wire on them. I got them for like 25 cents a piece. And I'm like, I told you I wouldn't bet your life on them. He's like, bro, first pump they broke. And then
Wait.
yeah, and I go, wow, like I told you it didn't work. And then he spent like the next like 3 weeks at the clinic just like getting random tests on him because he was like, I have a contract.
Alrighty, you know what the most shocking thing about this story is? The fact that you're telling me there was a time he actually used condoms.
Yeah, right. And that's actually I didn't even think about that. And she just said that. This kid never used a condom. I'm like he perhaps the girl he was with was questionable. Like maybe like he's like, listen, I usually go into a fire that's a 7 without any equipment, but once it gets past 7.1, I gotta stop putting like the gear on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We see he was
Wow.
like, this is a 9.5.
He used to use condoms.
Maybe your shitty condom just turned him off of condoms forever. It was that one experience. And now he has 12 children because of you.
They were terrible condoms. Like these things were like, they were. I don't know where we got them from. I think we got them from Potty City. I think they were like weird shaped balloons.
They were just balloons.
Not lubricated at all.
Party City condoms.
We used to blow them up. We used to walk into the studio, at the radio studio. No one liked us, and so they put us in this like 12 by 12, literally a closet with no ventilation. So when you opened up the door, it was like in the hallway where all like the clubs were, like the newspaper and all that stuff. It was like, you know, all those executives up there. And we would just blow these condoms up all day and just tie them off. And there would just be piles of these blown cheap condoms inside the studio. So like when someone would walk open the door and there'd be a breeze, all these like blown up condoms would just blow into the hallway. Executives at the school were just looking down the hallway. What the fuck is that? Like,
you're like, surprise.
Every time they open that door, it seems like it's a New Year's Eve party. So, but yes, he never uses condoms, which is hilarious now that I think about it. And he only has 2 kids. That's pretty good odds. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe
that we know of.
Something happened. He was in the army. Maybe they gave him one of those like pills he took when he enlisted in. Kind of, like
he has like 8 kids in Korea right now that you don't know about.
Could possibly, which would be fucking hilarious. Maybe he'd probably be hitting on him in a chat room.
It's really you.
Yeah.
Back in Boston.
8 sex location pick. And you have a Venmo? You can send me some butts. I do these virtual dates. You come online, you Venmo me some money, like you're gonna buy me a drink, but you just give me the cash instead. And then
I'm sure that's out there. That's probably
yeah, it's got to be a thing.
Yeah, I'm sure it is somewhere
in the metaverse. It's like, oh,
yeah.
I'm on a date with this girl. She's really hot. And it's like, instead of it's not, it's like a dude. And his mom's basement was just experimenting with dudes on the metaverse. He's like, I'm not into dudes, but it's the metaverse, so anything goes.
Yeah, it's not real, so it's okay.
Okay, yeah, it's like whatever. I'm just having a good time, hanging out with some friends, doing some weird shit in the metaverse. There's no rule.
Well, I guess a couple of months ago they were like testing the metaverse, like VR goggles and stuff like that, and there was like a woman and a bunch of dudes, and like without even missing a beat, the guys started like grabbing her boobs,
right,
like, virtually.
That's what it's for, is it? Right?
It's like you can't get in trouble for it. It's like you tell your wife, it's like she's not real. I was just grabbing air. You know what I mean? It's just like, what the fuck? You can't.
Imagine being the person with the goggles on. You're the girl, and like seeing that coming towards you. Like a person like coming for your boobies.
Well, it's probably no different than it is in bed. And I think girls are horrified when guys go hand first into the chest.
Yeah. They don't like that move. The Frankenstein.
No. It's kind of, what's this guy doing? Is he, it's like he's not going for the neck, I guess. Oh, imagine that. It's like a middle linebacker is trying to pass block you. It's like trying to go for a pass. It's fucking crazy. Oh man, hey, you're from New York, right?
Yeah, born and raised in Manhattan.
Manhattan. You still live there. Good for you.
Yeah, still never left. Basically, it's weird because like I meet, there's a million comics in New York, and no one's actually from New York City. There's only like 5 of us, maybe, which is just strange because like you'd think that there's millions of people that live in New York. Like, I think 1 million are born here every year. Where do they all go? Like, do they just die off or something? Like, how am I the one who survives? I don't know.
Yeah, made it here. I'm the only
smarts.
Yeah, that's right. It's my street smarts.
Have you? We've been seeing fucking crazy stories probably the last like year or so about New York, and Adam and I talk about it's like we used to love going to that place. Like I don't know, is it as scary as dangerous as it looks on TV, or is it just like another day, just another neighborhood?
No, I mean, I think there's like probably a rise in some of these kind of things, like stabbings and people getting pushed onto subways.
Yeah,
but you don't really see it. You do see more bums around, so I guess there's more possibility.
Right.
This lady, she must have been homeless. She came up to me on the subway yesterday. It was like 10 o'clock at night, and I had my headphones in, and I thought she was just going to ask me for money, but then she kept talking, so I was like, excuse me. And she was like, is this the D train? And I said, yeah. And then she said, do you have a boyfriend? But she was a lady, so I didn't get that. Like, and so I was like, I'm sorry. And I just walked like way far away because I figured she's going to try to push me probably. So you're a little bit more wary, but otherwise, I haven't seen any like crime happening myself.
That's good.
I think she was hitting on you. She was asking about the D train.
Yeah, she wanted my D, and then
Yeah.
maybe do you have a boyfriend was her way just to find out if I was straight. And then if I said no, then she was going to be like,
Yeah.
well, then, hey, I got the lady for you right here.
She's like, let me ride the D train. She's like, whoa. Oh my God. I would, if I was in the subways in New York, I would literally be like shoulders and back, like at the furthest corner where no one could, I can't get like sneak approach. You know what I mean? Like someone's trying to jump out of like the tracks and pull me into them.
Yeah, now when I'm like, well, as a train's coming towards me, like now what I'll do is I'll kind of plant my feet better so that just in case someone does try to push, I at least have a better like center of gravity.
Plant yourself. You're like, all right, I get this.
Yeah, because honestly, I'm really easy to push. So like it doesn't take a lot. Even if a guy was just like pretending like he just wanted to give me a little tiny shove, I would probably fly into the track.
Yeah, I mean, I've almost got pushed once. I was at a train in Boston last summer, coming back from like a Sox game, and it's just you sitting on the platform, and like this crazy guy was just running down, waving his arms in the air and stuff like this. And there's the train's coming. I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna go over here and support myself so I can die. So my kids aren't fatherless because some crazy homeless guy threw him onto the third rail.
Yeah, what a way to go.
It's like, how do
If
you
you're gonna die that way, you want to at least be like a hero. Like some guy fell in the tracks and my dad threw him back onto the platform, but then the train hit him. He's a great guy.
I want to be like my dad went to a Sox game, got hammered, and fell off the green monster. I don't want to hear he had a few drinks at a game. He was responsibly getting himself home, and unfortunately was a victim of a homeless crime.
A homeless
I
crime.
was excited.
Yeah, one time I was at a Yankees game. It was a playoff game back in the 90s, probably 96 or 98. And like this drunk dude behind us was being real annoying the whole time. I was a kid, you know, but he's being real loud and annoying. And then at one point, I think the Yankees scored and he jumped up to cheer. And I see him fly over my head and he like lands 2 rows in front of me. He just went totally airborne.
Good for him.
It was the best.
Well, my bachelor party, we went down to Jacksonville to go see the Pats play the Jaguars. And it was the hottest game of the year, and there was these kids sitting in front of us. They had to be like, if they were 21, they were barely 21, like from a frat house. And all of us were there was like 6 or 7 of us. There were 6 of us. We were all sitting there with our Pat stuff on, and he's just like yelling at us, like, Pat suck, Tom Brady sucks.
Yeah.
Sucks.
Oh yeah, Nick Foles beat
What
you.
about
Nick Foles.
Nick Foles. He's like. And we're sitting there, I'm like, bro, the game, it's just like 10, 20 minutes before the game even starts. Like, nothing's even happening yet. Like, what's going on? And you just lose him. He made it about 5 minutes into like the first period, the first quarter, and he was bounced.
Yeah, well, I remember good old Southern hospitality, the guy behind us being like, listen, I'm an off-duty cop. If you want to hit him, I'll allow it.
Yeah,
Being disrespectful. Like, even the fans were getting mad at them. Like, that's how.
And it sucked because it was so hot out. You couldn't drink enough beer to get drunk. It was just
I
like,
didn't even get a beer. I couldn't drink it.
People just sweating so much, and like these kids must have been like drinking whiskey out of the bottle in the parking lot before they came in because it was impossible to get drunk at this game. You were sweating so much. It was like the hottest game in like NFL history since like 1991, right?
Yeah, like 20 years.
Yeah, it was like ridiculous. And these kids didn't even make it to the first quarter. They're screaming and yelling, and I'm like, bro, like, what's your problem? And I'm like, we got like, I don't know. I got like 10,000 views on YouTube of this guy just yelling at me, which I thought was fun.
It worked out.
At the end of the day, you got to capitalize on what you can.
I don't blame them though. I mean, what else is there to do when you're like a Jacksonville Jaguars fan, really?
Right?
True.
That's
very true.
And like, I wouldn't want to get thrown out of like an NFL game anywhere else because like those tickets are really expensive. But I imagine at a Jags game you can get them for like $10.
Yeah,
so
like,
whatever.
No.
Well, yeah. Here's the problem. We paid a good amount of money for that game. If the next week they were playing the Jets, I know you're a New Yorker, I'm sorry. And the signal.
I'm a Giants fan, so Jets, whatever.
Same thing. No, it's different. Jets are way worse. All right, we'll see.
At least the Giants win.
Yeah, only against you guys.
Okay. Yeah, I would say most of your championships, yes.
Fair.
Fucking Giants.
Eli.
I think we had a conversation. I was at the wedding that I went to that Super Bowl, the second one against the Giants, and fucking ruined my life.
Oh, I don't remember that, but yeah, that must suck because you're like, this is a sure thing.
The best part about that Super Bowl was we went to a strip club afterwards. It was the only strip club in Indianapolis that was there. And so we walk in and we're sitting there at the bar and we're kind of just like sad. And this like dude walks in with like 20 people with him. And he looks like a legal midget. He's this little person. And it happened to be 50 Cent. And he's giant shit. And he has this on, and like Giants fans everywhere. And that's Patriots fans are sitting there in Pervert Road right next to eating chicken wings, looking at the girls dancing in front of us. And this waitress comes over. He's like, the guy over there bought you a couple of Miller highlights. I'm like, oh, okay. He's like, who's that from? He's like, the guy over there. It was like, he waves his hands. He's like, is that 50 Cent? Bought us a round of drinks.
Imagine he bought you just like vitamin water because he owns the company.
Yeah, right. Like,
he just gets them for free. So he's just handing out vitamin water at the strip club.
Like we're just going to write it off as marketing.
He's tossing it at the strippers. It's full bottles.
Yeah,
that's the XXX flavor. It's for you girls.
That was the best part about that. Yeah. And then I think one of the kids we were with was trying to get a hooker. And I mean, we were like staying like 45 minutes south of Indianapolis and like literally in farm country. We were at this like roadway. It was the only hotel available because by the time I got the tickets, we couldn't get a hotel. And he's online and he's like, bro, I think I got us a lady to come over to have some fun. She says she's like in St. Louis. I'm doing the math in my head. I'm like, Indianapolis, St. Louis, like at least 4 hour drive. I was like,
that's a hike.
Yeah. And I'm like, we're not even close to Indianapolis. And I'm like, I don't know about that, bro. And then I'm like, then we just reading these other ones, and I'm like, I don't think we want to get a hooker in the middle of a farm. Like, I don't think this is gonna work out for anyone. Like, this is a bad idea. And I'm like, and I'm the last person to say this is a bad idea, but this was a bad idea.
Yeah,
like,
that's why farmers fuck sheep.
Right.
The hookers are too far away.
And then they won't tell. They'll stay quiet.
But in the metaverse, I hear the sheep can talk.
Yeah, probably.
So they'll have to get used to that.
Well, because people can sometimes just pick if they want to be whatever, right? So maybe someone just wants to be someone wants to be a donkey, just walk around the metaverse being a pervert.
Yeah, like look, there's furries. They exist.
Yeah, I was to say virtual furries, right?
Every year we've talked about taking this show to the Furfest. So in Stamford, Connecticut,
yeah, we've talked about this.
The third weekend in October is Furfest, and it's at the Marriott Hotel in Stamford, Connecticut. You can get this online. And they do the Furfest and starts on Fridays and ends on Sundays. And basically they have like the ball and the dance. And like if you go on YouTube, you can see like the greatest hits of the night. Like there's one, they're all holding hands, dancing in a circle and stuff like this. And I go, I want to know what happens after the fact, because these people here are some kinky motherfuckers.
Yeah, are any of them there only for the wholesomeness of being in a fur costume?
I can't imagine.
And they don't even know that there's sex stuff also.
I mean, I've known people that walk
one
in.
person.
I know, yeah. I was gonna say, I know people going to like swingers clubs and not knowing it was a swingers club, and they were like, "Oh my god, this is not what we thought we were going to." So perhaps there is a percentage of people that go to Furfest thinking about. He's like, "Bro, I like dressing up as a character." I'm like, "Yeah, man, me too."
Yeah, I was a college mascot. I thought we were all just getting together.
It's like old retired college mascots showing up like, "Oh, dude, we can have our mascot reunion here at Furfest. Everyone dresses up like us." And you show up there, and everyone's just like, "Hey, where's your access panel on your costume?" It's like, "What do you mean by that?"
Access panel?
That,
like those old pajamas where your ass has those two buttons.
You know, furries actually perplex me more than foot fetish people. Only because, like, at least foot fetish people, like, skin against skin is involved. Like, I just can't picture being in a costume, and like, I feel like I need that skin against skin feel, like just costume, like rubbing against each other with like a dick hole and like insertions. Like, I can't imagine staying excited. Like, I can't. Like, it just wouldn't work. I don't know.
It might have something like on the inside of the fur that makes it feel somehow better. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
it's all made of like some kind of silicone.
And you know those costumes not being clean regularly either. You know what I mean?
No, they're not. It's like smell like a sweat bucket under there. Yeah, it's just
like hockey.
Yeah, it's just matted fur.
Like the guy comes home and he's like, "Why does Dad have his costume airing out on the ping pong table in the backyard?" He's like,
"What's he out of breath and sweaty?"
Is there all that blood around the access hole?
Oh God!
His mom blinked the photo of Daddy's chicken costume. The other wife, "It's cheaper if you just buy a new one."
My dry cleaning bills are through the roof.
kids listening at home, if your dad shows up in a chicken costume and your mom's bleaching the asshole of the axles panel, you know what he's probably doing once for Stamford, Connecticut.
Yeah, he doesn't just work for Chick-fil-A.
Actually, Anthro, New England, 2023. Is that this is? Yeah, in Boston. I'm looking up right now.
Go.
And,
Elon, if you're not doing anything next January, come up.
I'm circling it in my calendar right now.
Circle it out at the waterfront seaport, January 19th to the 22nd, 2023.
I'll pay.
We gotta decide what animals we're gonna wear though, so we don't double
Shit.
up.
That's
We got
fine.
time.
I'll pay for your Bolt bus to come up here. You can come in.
I'm gonna be a fucking bull. I'm gonna have the piercing. That's what I'm going with, like a Looney Tunes bull. You know, with the giant.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a giant sloth.
Ooh, they can slide around and shit. Then you know, if you
Then
fucking limbs
Real
inside.
slow.
Yeah.
I can catch you. Is that what you want? You want to be caught? That's what that is.
Yeah, baby.
Just lazy.
Not going anywhere. Slide into the elevators, like someone get my room number for me. I can't.
Like,
Damn. Well, we're approaching the end, Elon. We want to say thank you for joining us
Oh,
tonight.
wow, don't buy fast.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. This was fun.
Nice talking to you. Finally, I think we talked about this 5 years ago. Finally,
Yeah, I think you're like, I got a show.
awesome. And you're gonna be at Nick's on the 4th and 5th of March, right?
Yep.
Come check them
Come
out.
on out, everyone.
Adam and I might check you out.
Yeah, if you get away on a Friday after work.
I'm always looking for an excuse to get out of the house with the kid and the wife and stuff. So you know, this is the perfect opportunity. So it's for work, huh? Honey, it's for work.
Yeah, it's a write-off.
Yeah.
We talk to the guy. We talk
It's
to
for the taxes.
Yeah, it all works out good. Perfect. Well, man, thank you for joining us. Where can people get your information to your website? Or
Yeah, they could go to my Instagram at Elonstagram, ELON I got a podcast about Billy Joel. If anyone here likes Billy Joel, it's called Billy Joel A to Z. And we talk about every single song Billy Joel's ever written in alphabetical order.
Sounds awesome.
So that's also on Instagram at Billy Joel ATOZ.
Check that
So
out.
you're saying you like Billy Joel,
I wasn't as obsessed with him before I started the podcast. It just seemed like a funny idea, and now it's all I listen to.
I
We're
guess.
90 episodes in.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Did you like the 80s doo-wop stuff, or you more like the traditional like Piano Man 70s?
I like the 70s stuff more. Yeah, I like the old stuff.
Awesome, brother. All right, Elon Altman, thank you guys. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you guys next week. Toodaloo. Bye.
Hi, guys.
Man.